Good morning, fantasy football fans, and welcome in another episode of the Brady Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We took a slight break last week just because I got a little bit busy, and believe it or not, this does take a little bit of time to put together. So, first off, we're going to take a look at the standings. We got Jake, high off Herb, sitting alone at 9-1, followed by Mr. Phony Baloney himself, Ice Brady, 7-3, who did send me a sweet little gift. He sent me a little letter that said, speaking of phonies, and in it had a beautiful Drake May card. So I get it. I'll accept. I mean, if you gotta play, if you want to give me a little bit of crap, but give me a card, that's cool with me. That's cool with me. We're basically giving you free advertising here by talking about you every week on the podcast. So I'm sure, but thank you Travis, for the gift. I appreciate it. And this week we're gonna jump into a spreadsheet a little bit to get an update on where the drafts are at. I wasn't able to go in as depth as I had hoped for, but we did get to work on it a little bit. So here's what we got. This is all of the rounds of the draft sorted by the most points in the rounds. So, and then with the total at the bottom. So, the very first round one is actually the top round, which is interesting. So, the very round one now has the most total points. So, it is the most valuable round at this point in the season. You see even CMC's contributing a little bit here. So, this is all stats taken from before Thursday, though, just a heads up. So, the Thursday night games aren't included in this, I don't think. Yeah, round one. So basically what I did was I went through and I highlighted the winner of each round so we can take a look at who won the most rounds and all that kind of stuff. I won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but I want to point out where we're at. So round one is the most valuable round. And the most valuable pick from that was, I believe, Jamar Chase. Yep, from Josh H. Followed by that, round three is the second most valuable round. And you can see there's kind of a drop off after that point. 1487, 1431, and then there's almost a 100-point difference to the next round, which is round six. Round two, I won is how I'm calling it, right? I won with Derrick Henry. Followed by that is Josh H again with Lamar Jackson, the number one fantasy boy right now. I don't know what you want to call it, right? Fantasy player right now in the league. Grabbed him in the sixth round. Followed by that, round five, we have myself winning it again with an Alvin Kamara pickup. And then we have two back-to-back rounds, one by Josh S. with Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Walker III. As you can see, he grabbed both of those. Next, we have the ninth round, and it looks like Aaron won that round. And this again, so it's Kyler Murray. I think he still has Kyler Murray on his team. This is taken from the draft. So this is not taken into account if you dropped the player or if you traded the player or something. So Aaron won this round by taking Kyler Murray, and I think he still got him on his team. But if he had traded him or somebody else had him, I'm still giving the credit to Aaron for having drafted him. So this is based on if everybody kept the players from their draft is what this is. So next we got Corey winning round 7. This is the only round that he won. He won with Joe Burrow in the 7th round there. Followed by that in the 8th round, we got back-to-back round 8 and round 11 from Josh T. He grabbed Terry McLaurin and Brock Purdy. Round 10, Aaron gets another one here with his pick of Brock Bowers, who's been doing him pretty well this year. And then we got round 12, the Jaden Daniels pickup, kind of blowing everybody else out of the water. If you look at this, like the next one is 139, it looks like. The 191. I mean, the 191, that's the highest. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6th or 7th highest. So not a bad pick at all. Jaden Daniels. Bill Shakir is here for Shane. His one win in the draft there. And then lastly, we got the Los Angeles Chargers / I said Jameson Williams for Jace because I kind of gave it to both of them because, I mean, the Chargers are ahead by quite a bit, but they're the only non-player, pick in the draft that, so I don't know. Points directly, Jake wins that one. But if it's a player, then Jace wins that one. And then the total winner of the draft, it's the only one that Jake won. He's pretty close in a handful of the ones, but the only one he won was that round 14, or otherwise he would not have won one. Same with Jace. If he does, we don't give him a win there. These guys didn't win any draft one. I mean, you look at Josh S, he won 3. I think that's the most. And then total points. This is total points from all players. So it's a little bit lopsided because you could look at, oh my gosh, Jake should have 1,800 points, but he only has 12, 6, 9. He should have kept those guys or something, right? But no, this is all 14 rounds worth of players added and combined. So it is not accurate that he would have an 1,800 point team if he had kept everybody, because you can't play everybody. But he won the draft still. You will notice all the way over here, one person I haven't mentioned yet is Mr. Phony Baloney himself. He did not win a single round of the draft. Not a single round of the draft did he win. The closest he got was round 3. With his pick, it was a little bit behind my pick here, which I can take a look at who it actually was. For round 3, Travis got... Where's Travis? 213. He picked Jalen Hurts. The closest he got was with Jalen Hurts, which has been doing him well this year. He's had a good year so far. Definitely speeding up now. Last thing I'll mention, before we jump into the normal stuff, is the free agency. So I did take a look at which of the top players. But what I did here is I took the top 200 players on the season, and then any of them that were attributed to a team, I added it to them as a point, as to see how many points they got from free agency. Again, this is not perfect because some of these free agents have hopped teams a handful of times, but it's a good indicator of who's using the waiver wires the best. So Aaron is leading the pack there with 54% of his potential points coming from the waiver wire or the free agency. So he's done a great job picking players up and doing that. Second place drops off quite a bit to me at 636 with 37% of my points coming from potential free agency players. And then lastly, we got Mahase, not lastly, but third place, we got Mahase at 524 with 35% of his points coming from the waiver wire as well. And you can see everybody else. You can see Travis here, second to last at 16% of his. He's been stuck with his draft for the most part because if you look at his draft, it's not like he did terrible. I mean, he's definitely in the bottom. I guess he did do pretty bad. Yeah, he's only beaten one other person, which is Shane, who lost his round 1 draft pick. CMC for most of the year. So yeah, I mean, I guess not picking on Travis, but interesting. I'm just looking at the stats. You know, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Just showing everybody what we know is true, or what the data says is true. So, and lastly, I do have the best free agent pickups of the year so far. If we're going number 1, I mean, it's obviously more likely to be a quarterback because quarterbacks get more points in general, but it's Baker Mayfield who's gotten 221 points on the year. If you look at all the other players we picked up, I'd put him about 4th, I think, in terms of if I had drafted him, he'd be the 4th best player drafted. And then the number 3 player and the first, I said number 1 running back is Chuba Hubbard from Josh T. So it is, he's not the number 1 player, but he's the number 1 non-QB player. It's Chuba Hubbard. So great job, Josh T. there. Winning 2 rounds and grabbing Chuba Hubbard. And I just thought it was interesting, so I figured I'd share that. Now we'll move on to the normal stuff. The normal stuff, we're going to take a look at the standings, and you can see it right up there. But Travis beat me 2 weeks ago, which was very, very sad. I was genuinely heartbroken because now if it comes down to us trying to sneak into the playoffs, he wins the tiebreaker there. It does not go points for first. It goes by record. Then it goes by head-to-head record. So he is 2-0 against me this season. 2 of my 3 losses have been to Travis, which is just depressing. You know what I mean? Ice Brady, it's more like Brady's Kryptonite is really what his name is, because that's insane to think that he beat me twice this year. It's literally, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it, but it is what it is. Jake's is at number 1, and we're going to do a little deep dive into his team next week to talk about his journey here, because I think one more win and he clinches. If he wins this week, I think he clinches playoffs. He'll be the first team to clinch playoffs. We'll go into that. We'll take a quick look at the true coach rating, which puts Travis at the top, which is interesting because in the past I've used this to indicate a real coach. I'm trying to question it now. He's ahead by quite a long shot here because of his coach rating. So his coach rating, he's only left 102 points on the bench, which means, again, he's utilizing his points very well. You look at me, I'm doubled that. But not good. Me and Jake both not good. We've too many points left on the bench every week. It could just be because we have too good of a team. When I have 3 losses, I have the same record as him, and he's got 100 less points he's had to put on the bench. 100 left points he's left on the bench. Starting to have a come to Jesus moment here of what's happening. So he is the top coach right now because of his record, points for, breakdown, and coach. So breakdown, he's number 1 as well, by 1. So because he beats me that 1 week last week. Basically, this means if he were to play all the teams every week, his overall record would be 58-32. So he'd be beating more teams than he'd be losing to. And if you go down here, obviously it gets worse and worse down to 22-6-8. Where Shane, I mean, props to him. Great week last week, 8-1 last week. That's a great time. And Corey 0-9. No one, he would have beat nobody last week. Unfortunate. Josh H here 9-0. I had a rough week last week. 1-8. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. But anyway, that's what it's looking at. It's looking at your record. It's looking at your breakdown. How many, your overall record. It's looking at how many points you left on the bench, and that's what calculates the true coach rating. So congrats, Travis. You've beat the allegations so far, but it's coming. It's coming. This I swear. Okay, now we'll hop into last week's matchups. Just for a smidge, Travis, he beat me 106 to 109. Not a good week for me. Mainly coming from a huge breakdown from Baker Mayfield in that loss against San Francisco. Only giving me 9 points, his lowest on the year. Not good there. And then across the board, most everyone did their job. The main ouchie boo-boo here is just who I left on the bench. Drake London versus New Orleans. For some reason, I think because he scored so poorly against them last time, I don't remember. I was like, I don't think he's going to do it. He put up 20. Calvin Ridley, he had a couple games where he's been doing good, but versus the Chargers, I wasn't feeling it. 12, 23, 12. I was thinking, okay, probably more of a 12-point game. I think I can get more. Didn't happen. He put up 26 with 2 touchdowns, and he's on my bench. So this just comes down to better coaching. I'm gonna have to stop with the phony stuff because I don't know what this means for me if I lose to you twice. So I'm having kind of a crisis here. Pray for me, please. But yeah, Jalen Hurts comes through 29 points to save the week. That's the main hero here. I mean, Sutton didn't do bad at 19. Kareem Hunt at 17. His special teams doing their job. 22 points combined. I only got 20.6. But yeah, Amon St. Brown doing his job at 19. He's my hero of the week at only 19 points, which is, same as Sutton. So, compared to Jalen Hurts at 29, not as nice there. So, did not get the dub this week. Left a lot out there though. Left a lot on the bench, and yeah, I'm gonna have to go like on an ayahuasca journey, vacation after this because I need some time to think and reassess and reestablish. That's actually what I was doing last week. In preparation for this, and I have to go and do it again because I got the L. In our next one, in our nail biter of the week, Jake goes at 119.5 to Liberty Liberty's 117, and in a close one. This is the closest one of the week for sure, and it's heartbreaking for Aaron. He moves to 3-7 with a loss streak of 3, and Jake remains on his 5-game win streak now, 9-1. Onyx was in this week, and it came down to Kyron Williams on Monday night, seeing if he could get him all the way up to close that gap there. I think it was 13 points. I guess he would have needed 2 more. So very, very close. He would need 2.44. We're being. You scared me. Give me 1 second. But yeah, it all came down to that, and he couldn't quite get it. Chase Brown doing his job, 22 points. Vikings D doing their best. Gonzalez, the backup kicker for Washington versus Pittsburgh, getting 11 in. Not a bad week. 117. And I say that, but then I look at the points, and it actually is kind of a bad week. So, unfortunately, Aaron couldn't get it done. T. Higgins was out again. He had a couple buys with Bowers on buy, Tillman on buy, Love on buy, and on the opposite side, there's 4 buys for Jake. So, not ideal with that. Stephon Diggs still on IR. Looks like he's just letting him ride the bench to a ring per chance, because I think he's done for the season. But on the opposite side, Bijan Robinson pulling in 30.4 to lead the pack and get this W on the books there. Well played, Jake. And on to the next one, we got I'm Not Worthy, Corey versus Defeated But I'm Not Deleted. And it wasn't very close. Corey had a chance here at the end to try to make it up on that Sunday night, Monday Night Football. Wasn't able to do it. Josh had a comfortable lead and rode that to the end. If you look at who his heroes were, he had Kyler Murray at 29, Hubbard at 25.9, and James Conner at 22. The Cardinals going off against the New York Jets there in that blowout. On the opposite side, it basically came down to Joe Burrow carrying the entire team at 37 points, with Montgomery contributing 13.6 and Tracy Jr. contributing 16.4. And he had Jerome Ford on bye, and on the opposite side, Josh Jacobs was on bye, and Olave still on IR. Jonathan Brooks, I don't think he's on IR this week, but didn't do nothing last week. I don't know if he's playing this week or not, but all in all, solid W here from Defeated But Not Deleted. And Corey moves to 4-6, and Josh moves to 4-6. Next, we got Chiefs 3-peat, who just can't catch a break, man. He had a win last week. He's up against East Coast guy this week, and East Coast guy is on a 2-game win streak on the climb back. I don't think it's too late for him, but he's gonna need some lucky on my stars to get the playoffs. At this point, he can't drop another game, and he's got to hope a lot of other people drop some games to be able to get up to the playoffs. But he's doing it. 2-game win streak, 153 points. He ended up second on the week. No laughing matter. He's made some adjustments. Take a look at who it was. We had Eckler at 22. Eagles defense pulling, crazy. 30 points versus that blowout against Dallas. Dallas looked like a joke. Didn't even have their players see on the field because of sun. And Brock Purdy 24. Rachaad White 19. All in all, everyone was doing their job except for Justin Tucker here, who only kicked for 2. But solid effort all around from East Coast guys team. On the opposite side, Chiefs 3-peat. Daniels 8.5. Held the 8.58 in that loss against Pittsburgh. And he had Mahomes get 16 versus Denver on that week. And a crazy last-minute finish where I'll play it here, but missed field goal. A missed last-second field goal. And it wasn't missed. It was blocked. A last-minute blocked field goal by Kansas City Chiefs to keep the Chiefs undefeated on their road to a potential 3-peat, like his name says. He did have 3 buys this week, with Kenneth Walker Jr. being one of them. And over here on East Coast guys, he did have Jacoby Myers on bye, but that did not seem to affect his ability to get a dub this week. So well played, Shane. Like to see you going off here for 2 wins, King. And hopefully you can continue the streak, and we'll see what happens. Next, we got Zero Dark Purdy versus Mahase, and Zero Dark Purdy went off. It was not close the whole time. Basically just a smackdown. This was basically, like those blowouts that happened the other week on TV. This was our version of it. 167 to 107, a 60-point difference. Let's just dive into it with the main story here being 61.4 points from Jamar Chase, absolutely putting the team on his back. That's the entire difference here. 61.4 points, as the best on the week. He might have beat his own record, actually. Let's find out together, shall we? No, his best week was still week 4 with 178 points, but this was a close one at 167. He was really giving himself a run for his own money there. And then obviously Travis Kelce for 20, Laporta for 17.6, who's now out, and Lamar Jackson doing his thing for 34.9. He basically could have beat him with just Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase. That's insane. There's 2 buys on this side, Geno Smith and Madison. He did leave George Pickens on the bench at 21.6 and Mooney with 14. I think Mooney is now... No, he's not on IR. I thought he was hurt or something. But anyway, well, we won't focus on that. On the opposite side, Jace's team had AJ Brown and Puka Nacua doing their jobs, with James Cook and Joe Mixon helping as well. But Tagovailoa only getting 9, Kincaid getting 4, Stevenson only getting 8, Aubrey getting 7, and Giants getting 8. It just wasn't enough to beat Josh H this week, and move Josh H to 6-4 and Mahase to 4-6. And we're gonna take a look at next week's matchups, or I should say this week's matchups, because we're already into it. It is Saturday as I'm recording this, so Thursday night games have already happened, and Chiefs 3-peat is off to a solid start with 34.8 coming from Saquon the Dog Barkley, 34.8, and Jaden Daniels getting 13.44 in that loss. Solid start for Josh S here. He does have Butker on IR, so he's gonna have to swap him out, but no buys, so he's got his full roster at his disposal, and he needs a win here. So Zero Dark Purdy would be a great one to take a W off of, because he needs a win. If he wants to try to get to playoffs, he can't drop another game, I don't think. And Zero Dark Purdy needs to hold on to his spot if he wants to go to playoffs as well. Anything can happen now as we're getting down to it, but I'm going to have to give this edge to Josh S. I think his strong start with Saquon here might carry him through. However, he does have Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase to get through again, and heaven knows they are not going to take it easy. And I think Nico Collins is good to go. I think he got hurt in that last game. He's good to go, so we'll see how that goes. Next, we got Mahase versus I'm Not Worthy. Again, 4-6 teams, both on a 2-game loss streak. They both need a dub here. Tracy is on bye, so that's a loss for Corey in terms of, Tracy's been looking like a starter ever since he took over. It's been great. So unfortunate for him that he's out this week. AJ Brown getting 11.5 in that victory. Kincaid is out, so that's going to have to be swapped out. And we'll see what happens here. I'm going to give the edge to Mahase because I believe his roster is a little bit stronger. Anything can happen here in fantasy, so we can't count Corey out. Next, East Coast guy, 38.9. Strong start against Jake here. Try and go for the jugular here with Goddard getting 10. Eagles defense getting 9.8, and Eckler rushing for 18.96 in that loss. Jake has no one there, but he does have some pretty cool. I mean, the Pittsburgh versus Baltimore game is going to be tight, and the Josh Allen versus Kansas City, I don't know if it's going to be a shootout or if it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm assuming shootout because of the way those offenses work, but heaven knows I can't seem to predict anything. Next, we got Ice Ice Brady versus Liberty Bibbity, and Ice Ice Brady had Jalen Hurts go for 18 and Brian Robinson go for 14.2. Solid start. I mean, both those guys are doing their jobs. Aaron is projected to win at this point, and we'll see if he can get the dub there. I know Jordan Love is back in Chicago, but he is starting Bo Nix versus Atlanta. We'll see how that works out for him. And Dowdle's on the bench, I see here with that Monday night game. Dowdle's been looking pretty good. We'll see what happens. If I had to give someone an edge here, I'd probably give it to Liberty Bibbity because I'm getting tired of seeing Travis get these W's. So please, Aaron, get him. Finally, we got myself versus defeated but not deleted. And rough start for him. McLaurin only pulling in 10 receiving yards for 2 points. One catch. That's rough. And he's got 5 people on bye and 1 on IR. So he's thinly spread this week. I'm fully expecting the dub here. My only bye really is, I was going to say, well, it was the Buccaneers because I have Otten and Mayfield, but it looks like Neighbors is on bye too. So I do have 3 on bye. So I'm not necessarily at full power myself here, but I believe in Justin Herbert versus the Bengals here to be able to help carry me to victory. And I do have Drake London in versus Denver, which I do feel nervous about again, but I feel like every time I bench him, he goes off. So I got to leave him in. I did pick up Jonnu Smith this week to help, and we'll see how that goes. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty confident about this, and I plan on winning. I plan on winning here. So that's it for this week. Next week, I'll try to... I'm going to do a deep dive on Jake, who is right now the number 1. He's been holding the number 1 spot for most of the year. Take a look at the moves he's made, how he got to where he is. I mean, part of it was this was the start of it, right? His draft was great. He had the most drafted points by 134, it looks like, 135, whatever you want to call that. He didn't win any round individually, but he had strong picks throughout the entire thing. None of his picks did anything less than 72. Whereas if you look around to everybody else kind of has a little bit of a flop or something like that, right? One that doesn't do so hot. Josh D had this one in round 9, yada, yada, yada. This is kind of getting long. So I'm going to go and wrap it up. Thank you very much for tuning in. Best of luck to everybody this week, except for Travis. We're getting down to the wire here. So best of luck, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I think that's it. So cheers. Cheers to everybody. Happy Sunday. And hope you all are happy, healthy, and doing fine. If not, I don't want to hear about it. Just let me know when you're happy, healthy, and doing fine. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.